Well, since it's been a minute, I will conveniently roll back over here to the map as a reminder. Let's go around the horn and talk about what we remember last with what was going on. And I think we start with, well, no, I'll start with Mike. That's mean. So, James, what is the last thing you remember? Penglan?
We're all leaving the ceremony, which had a few twists, such as who's it, Gunlon being in the secondary position.
Mm-hmm.
And isn't there a group that's going to be trying to do something to help Shu's girlfriend? What's her name?
Certainly, a couple people are invested in doing something about that for sure.
Yeah, I just thought someone was like going to go talk to her or her mom or something.
Yeah. Zeman's gonna go talk to her mom.
Some of that is
that's
definitely
gonna
happening.
make everything better.
Speaking of Gunlun, what happened with Gunlun right at the end? Is he filing out with everybody?
I have no idea.
Would Peng have noticed where he went? Do you think?
Probably,
I'll
yes.
happily remind you. Yeah, he, rather than filing out with everybody else, I'll ping the map over here, stormed out through this sort of back way. Stalked. Let's say stalked out through the back way, and not a few seconds thereafter, Dantian headed out the same direction, sort of trailing after. He seems a bit miffed. Gunline, not Dantian. So, by contrast, Huigong set the big hammer down and is quite cheerfully for him, cheerful but stoic, I don't know, making his way out and accumulating his hangers-on as he goes. Xi and his, servant and various other people complimenting on his work and all that kind of good stuff. So,
My brother.
Bao, what's the last thing you remember?
Well, I mean, there was the whole ceremony thing, and I was like concerned over what was going on with kind of the whole shuffle around with the sons there. So I was thinking that that gives me yet another reason, besides romantic ones, to go find Lee, and both to find her because she wanted me to go find her, and also to see if I can find out what's shaking with Huigong. Plus, there's everybody's been gathering and moving around and crowds milling about, and I still need to figure out how I can assist Sun, as I have been told that I need to do.
Right. Shu, what was the last thing you remember? Fleeing the ceremony.
I remember fleeing in tears.
Accurate. Do you remember why?
Yes, because why was I? Hang on.
It was Bill's fault. There was a note. Does that help?
Yes, and a big miss.
Yes. I believe the note was something along the lines of Suning intends
marry
to
her daughter.
Yeah, marry her daughter
Suning
off to one
intends
of the.
to marry her daughter to one of the Kung heirs.
Which, is not what I know is not what she wants, is not what I want, is probably not what anybody wants, honestly. So.
Well, the heirs are probably somewhat agnostic about it.
Well, I
don't know.
see that being the thing with
Gunlan.
Yeah.
Gung is.
No. Yeah, Gunlan.
Gunlan is. He's complicated.
Yeah. See, we could have just all fixed this if we'd set up for her to, go for Gunlan, and then I could, quote marry Zeman, and then we could just switch and we'd all be happy. But no.
You've landed in the wrong genre.
Yeah.
For doing the easy thing.
Yeah. I
Speaking
am of the court. There is no easy thing.
Speaking of the note dropper, Son, what's your most prominent recollection?
Pretty much
Skill zone. I'd forgotten that.
pretty much that business of trying to organize a resistance against this arrangement with Zeman, and then making Chu aware of the situation.
Yeah, I believe you made Zeman privy to this whole thing prior to the beginning of the ceremony, correct?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Do something.
I twisted his arm a little bit, and that's okay.
And we'll wrap up with Mike's foremost thoughts on the whole thing.
I was leading off the mother to go to.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, you were gonna
To
pigeonhole
go
her.
to things.
Buttonhole, not pigeonhole. Buttonhole her.
Let's see. Sooning. Oh, there was a ceremony.
Yep. So having done that, let's take a look at start of the session moves. Each player reviews and may revise any of their entanglements to match any changes in the story. Change may be freely made so long as they keep one romantic and one general entanglement. Each player then highlights one of their entanglements. This tells the table which they'd most like to see played out this session and offers extra XP. Players should collaborate on this choice.
Oh, we should collaborate, huh?
Well, I'm going to say may, not so much should, and definitely not must.
So I'm probably going to follow the general entanglement about having promised my father to aid son, just because I sensed reluctance and comedic aspects to it, especially since I have this tearing priority to want to try to find Lee to be with her and find out more from her. So
Right.
hilarity should ensue.
Should it? Could be.
I am definitely the comic relief character for this particular.
I mean, there is a bit of that energy, a little bit of Jackie Chan in there, but still with the heartfelt romance. Never know.
Nothing wrong with that. Oh yeah.
No, not at all. Peng, where are you feeling this one?
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I see. Bill's spitting things up here. His general, I'm using 5 coin Zeman to work against Suning's ambitions. Oh, I like how you rewrote that. It's very nice. I'll assist Sky to other shooter and resolve her feelings about Su-Wen. Very nice. I like these. I like this because it's a rewrite to match the reality of things, but it still maintains that balance of the one PC, one NPC, all that kind of good stuff. That's good. I like it. Which one are you picking as your primary there, Bill?
I went for the romantic entanglement.
I'll assist Guy to other shooter in resolving your feelings about Su-Wen. Very nice.
Like, I'm quite sure I'm going to hit both of these this session, but,
It seems like, I mean, the nice thing is the Su family in general are really where you pivot on this one, so it feels pretty good. All right, so anybody, I'm just going to real quick. Margie, what are you thinking? I pined for Su-Wen, but I destroyed them and their lover in a past life.
Yeah, I mean, I'm either Su-Wen or Peng Lang, depending upon sort of like how I want to beat myself up. Given how we ended, it's probably more Su-Wen. Although, there's always the chance that.
I mean, to look at like what Bill had done. It's interesting to watch this evolve into something like my feelings for Su-Wen are complicated by my memories of what I did to her and Pen Lang in the past. As things begin to.
Yep. That's right. I might. Yeah.
The other thing I will say this. I'm just calling out, Bill. This is really useful as a little trick. Is there's verbs in yours, or you either are about to do a thing or you are currently doing a thing in those entanglements, which is nice. Pine and love are both verbs, and there's nothing wrong with these. They're right out of the book. But I'm about to do this thing is good. I'm going to see if I can't get you to get a little bit more active about G as well. It's like, no, I need to actively keep G away from whatever the hell 5 coin Zeman has going on. I need to get in his way, but we'll see how that goes. What about Peng? Where are we at on Peng, Mr. Lan, Mr. Peng?
Well, I'm guessing that given where all the drama is revolving, that two-handed G is going to show up at some point.
Oh, he's here for now. He's with Huigong
yes,
at this
but like
point.
interaction. So
I gotcha.
I'm going to go with, he's my rival who is sworn to kill me, but I promised Shu not to harm him.
I see. All right. Sounds good. See where that goes. And did I touch on everybody? Well, not Mr. Zeman. 5 coin.
Yep.
May I call you 5?
You can call it anything you want as long as you call it.
I think Su-Wen and Silent Sun make a cute couple. Too bad Sun is too honorable. That is my only objection to that is where is your romantic entanglement into that? I am
They don't need one.
I am here for the romance, not to be romanced.
Ooh, I think that sounds like a challenge.
I mean,
I think you need to find a hottie for 5.
well, actually, I've got some questions.
Make him,
I've got some questions to pursue about that, but we'll get into that here in a second. Okay, all right. All right, good. That is a very interesting angle to have on this thing as we line this thing up. Okay, to sum up, Gunlang plowing out this way. Zemin and Lan are somewhat here near the back. I think I pick, sort of maybe it's Zemin lagging back just a bit so he can kind of pull Lady Sue out of the way.
Or the mother.
But well, that is Lady Sue is the mother.
Oh, I'm sorry.
As opposed
You're
to
right.
the maiden Sue. Not really maiden, but maybe. Oh. So Zemin, you've got these two noble women here. You've got the head of the court is heading this way. His sister-in-law's with him. The abbot is trailing around there. And there's a lot of meaningful glances going back and forth between this, call it the older generation of court members here, all in this kind of area. What's your plan? And if it's as stated previously, like how do you intend to carve Su Wang away from this group and get some talking time? Or do you do it while you're walking alongside, or do you switch up? What's the plan here?
Well, so as what happened last time, when Skydaughter Shu left at the end of the ceremony, where she was nearby with everybody else, I took in her position, so that as the thing wrapped up, I was like, I was making standard, court sign language towards, hey, we need to talk.
Ah, see, so you've sort of stepped into that role as sort of a member of the court. I will escort you, but at the same time, we need to. Okay, all right. Normally, I'd be like, let's just do this thing, but the thing
I have a move for it.
I was going to say, Sue really, yeah, you do have a move for it, and that's good and yours doesn't even require a roll because Su Ning would really rather be talking to the abbot right now. Or, well, there's somebody else here in the court that she also needs to speak with. But what is that move? How does that go? You basically can just socially tank people all the time, can't you?
Yep. I can lead them away or into a nearby location. And if they want to leave, they're going to have to mark an element or cause themselves major embarrassment.
You lead them away. Interesting. Do NPCs even have elements as such?
Nope.
I didn't think that they had. So it's either that or major embarrassment. So she's certainly not going to do that at this point. Interesting. Okay, where do you want? Describe where you want to take her. You don't need to pick anything on the map. Just what's the surround like when you?
All right. So before I do that, Bill, I have
Yes.
a question for you.
Well,
All right. So I feel as though I could make something that is going to, at the very least, temporarily put a hinder in. I always need to bring this up in Lady Su Ning's plans. However, this is your like not storyline, but like this is your thing that you're interested in.
which I have explicitly invited you into to mess with as you wish.
Okay, got it. I'm just looking for consent before I start screwing around with things.
Oh, fuck me up, fam. Go for it.
Got it. All right, I'm ready.
Isn't that
All
your
right.
role?
We are going someplace public.
Oh.
So I take it you're not in the buzzkill zone.
I mean, I want to go to the, not necessarily with the royal family and all that, but basically with the most high society people possible.
And you're just gonna.
That's in the courtyard still.
You're essentially gonna promenade like right down through the middle of this whole thing, just elbow to elbow with her, and have the conversation as she goes. Is that accurate?
I want this conversation to be, to take place, like, in hushed tones, but, like, well enough where other people can hear it. That's the plan.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
You're mean.
I'm super mean.
Okay.
I'm glad you're kind of on my side.
Don't worry, I'm helping.
I feel like that should be on a T-shirt for him.
I think it is. I think it's embroidered on the cuffs of all of his, gowns. Back of his calling card.
Zemin, since you are basically going to be plowing right through the midst of everybody else, I am going to figure out what everybody else is doing as you're about to plow through them, so I get a sense of where where this all shakes out. And I'm going to zoom in on the map quite a bit here so it feels like there's a little bit more real estate to work with. So if some of your icons get smaller, just zoom in, because this area is plenty big, but it doesn't work for everybody to be as big as they are and still have some maneuvering space. So Penglan, Zemin has attached himself lamprey-like to the elbow of a noblewoman, of whom you are, I don't think, particularly aware. Although her daughter, you would assume daughter, they look somewhat alike, is weirdly familiar. You're not sure where. What do you do as this? I mean, you do the Kung Ayoshi is right near there, and approachable if you want to pay your respects, your appropriate respects. Little risky.
It would be rude directly after a ceremony to approach him.
Well, certainly in this area, until you're technically out of this area. So, not approaching him at this point in time, what do you do then?
I will probably kind of follow the crowd over and keep an eye out for both Gunlan, as always, but then also kind of seeing, what could be going on to cause Zemin to detach himself from me. Because I am here because of Zemin, so...
So you're kind of trailing, sort of moving out here, but keeping an eye on things. Is that accurate?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe, nod at bow as I go past.
Gotcha. All right.
I now have a whole slew of people I can keep my eyes on.
Indeed. And we'll be doing that here in a moment. What about you, Bao? All these names are...
I would have followed Begong to see if Lee was somehow in attendance.
Yep, which she is. Attendance isn't quite the right word. She's entouraging a little bit. Kind of, fangirl's not quite the right word, but cheering squad.
I will try to catch her eye.
Okay.
To indicate that I want to talk with her. Add in, big, broad comedic pantomime, until such time as that particular group ends up passing Sun.
Gotcha.
Up ahead in the buzzkill zone.
Which I'm curious. So since Sun is trailing Shu, I'm going to ask Shu, how far do you retreat here, and where's your safe spot that you get back to kind of compose yourself, or do you not compose yourself? Do you just rush completely into a crowd somewhere? The buzzkill zone is relatively low population. Food cart has more people, and once you're out in the party out in the front, many more.
But if you stand in the buzzkill zone, the entire royal entourage is headed this direction.
But not if you manage to
tuck back in the trees, or
tuck back into the trees.
Yeah, skulk in the shadow of the trees, or skulk in the courtyard here, where there's some convenient pillars that you can kind of stand a bit behind, where people won't be looking in that direction.
Yep. Which is where you and Suneng and Suwen were kind of holed up for a bit too. So, Sun, do you follow? I mean, do you follow it? Can we assume that you eventually join where she's at there? Is that the plan?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So once you guys are basically past this gate, Zemin, is where it's appropriate to begin conversation here. So how do you want to proceed with this?
All right.
What's the plan?
So basically, Zemin is going to start start off with the flattery, just being like, I've heard so much about your family through my connection with the royal family. Just basically like propping all this stuff up. And then it's gonna be like, and after that it's just like leading into, after like the exchange of like, oh yes, we've done many great things. Elaborate history, blah blah blah. It's like
establishing the bona fides, yeah.
Yep. At which point it's like, oh, and that girl who was with you, is that your sister? Is that your?
Oh, nice.
Yeah, just trying to like, that was your daughter. Oh yes, lovely girl. Well, at this point, Zemin is just going to use all this to let up, as he's talking around all the rest of the people here. Is like, oh, great, amazing. Me, I've been associated with the royal family. Things have not been going so well, and so I was hoping to get myself set up here in this town. And I thought, what a wonderful way to integrate myself with the city is is to perhaps, marry into one of the high families here. So Zeman is going to very publicly be offering like an elaborate dowry for
the beautiful daughter, the
I see.
flower of the court.
Yep. And I want two things here. One is, this is the two ways I see this working out. One, this is never, Zeman is just respectable enough and is making just a big enough offer where anybody would be like, why would you do that? That's very odd, it's, if somebody were to reject this outright, it'd be like, why would you do this? This is very odd. However, since I know that she's trying to get her daughter married off to the royal family, she doesn't want this. And there's two ways I could see her getting away with this, and that is, one, her just not agreeing to this at all for some reason. The alternative is just be like, nope, sorry, daughter's married, can't do this. At which point, she's just admitted in public that her daughter's already married. And so anything from there on is just going to be weird. That's my hope.
That's your hope.
That's my hope.
Okay. As near as I can tell, scale doesn't come up when you're not talking about a fight. Does that track?
I think
It seems as though that's roughly accurate.
I believe that's correct.
Fair enough. Which is fine. I'm mostly... I think there's two parts to this, because Hearts and Minds, which is kind of you're sort of trying to get her maneuvered around to say a certain thing, comes when someone's susceptible to your words, and I think we need to get there. So what I'd like to do is start off with whether or not you impress her.
Okay.
Okay, I think there's layers to this to get anywhere to where you're even having something like a serious conversation with her. And partly that's going to come with the impress thing. So... when you act to impress others or succeed at, in this case, it's just impress others, roll. And then you can pick some options, creating a bond, clear an element, gain favor, that kind of thing. Gain a favor, rather. I think that's where we start.
All right.
What do you think most applies here for what you're trying to do in terms of the elements?
Well, I was going to say, I will point this out first. Is at the very bottom it says if you're engaging with someone specific, see Hearts and Minds.
Let me look. I didn't look at that.
That is the last sentence of the move.
Use this move for public gatherings or explicit or implicit competition. Artistic performance, form demonstration, tournaments. All right. Yep. All right. Well, it feels right, but yeah, you're right. Okay. So go ahead.
Just
what were you gonna say?
When I fail this roll, just blow up. I don't care. Fewer, more impactful moves.
Well, yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, no, I was just doing it. I was thinking about doing it in layers because she is, the kind of target where it's there's more layers to get. There's layers of defenses. But no, it's fine. And susceptible to your words. Sure. All right. In any case, back to is your metal currently spiked right now?
It is.
Okay.
That's from last time.
Yeah. I'd forgotten that happening, but off we go then.
All right. We're rolling fire.
Creativity. We call that lying.
Only if you're very crass.
All right, a 9. Okay, flipping back over here and looking back over at the move just to get a sense of it. On NPC, the 10 they bow to your words, and on 9 they can instead choose to reveal. You may ask 2 questions of them. Overreact, you gain a bond with them. Hesitate, you get a +1 ongoing against them. This lasts until there's a major change to them in fiction or alienate. You create animosity between them and someone of your choosing. Oh, I see. I choose the thing, and then you would be able to pick, like, who. I think this is going to bite me in the ass, but I think this is going... I think this is going to cause her... She's not so... Well, actually, you know what? I'm going to throw this up to you.
She's not naive.
I'm going to throw... Yeah, well, here's the thing. She's not going to suddenly go, bleh. But you can certainly read some stuff. So actually, I'm going to leave this up to you, Mike. I'm giving you the option between reveal and hesitate. You're either going to give her pause in her machinations, or she will inadvertently give some things away by virtue of the questions that you ask. And if she's hesitating, that means she's going to be giving pause here, which gives you that +1 ongoing against her until the situation changes.
Mm-hmm. All right. I don't have questions. Does anyone have questions?
I mean, the only thing I was thinking of, like, in terms of, like, what the heck is your actual plan here, lady? But I don't know if that's...
Very.
Yeah.
Hesitate's
Hey.
good.
So far, her plan seems straightforward to me, but...
Mm-hmm.
You are a wily creature, but that's fine. Okay, so... Go ahead.
I'm just out of range here, and I can't move.
I'm sorry, what?
Can you talk for me?
No, I can hear you. I can hear you,
I
Mark.
can hear you.
He can hear you.
It's going in and out.
Oh, you're right. You are going in and out. She is
Okay,
correct.
why don't you flip up your mic then and tell me what I should say?
My question was, does she intend on claiming that her daughter is not married?
Mm.
You know, that is a good question.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean-
Joyce, is she planning on getting the marriage annulled, or is she planning on just lying and say that she was never married?
Okay, so I will tell you what she says obliquely, and then we'll because I want to provide that color, but I'll also give a relatively straightforward answer here. I say relatively. She makes her apologies. She doesn't know what rumors may have been flowing around the court that would imply that she was in the position to be able to accept the offering of a dowry, or even accept courting on behalf of her family or her only daughter, her most precious daughter, as her situation with her daughter is extremely complicated. And while she holds out hope, always and forever holds out hope that that complication may be resolved in the future, and that she would be most interested in such conversations were that the case at any point that it becomes, if it ever could. It is unfortunately not the case now, and it would be improper for her to have such a discussion at this point, given and unfair to you, noble member of the court, to imply that such options were available to you. So that's
get back on.
And more of that sort of and more of that sort of thing as she goes. She makes it very clear with her inclinations, with her word choice and her word emphasis, that she would very much like to. She intends to simplify her daughter's situation immensely, and with, again, some of the word emphasis that she uses, soon.
At present.
Yeah, like, if it were ever to happen, soon, that kind of thing. In any case...
There are complications at present, but I trust that soon such complications will be a thing of the past.
Yes. And the answer that I'm going to give is that her current status as a married person will no longer be an issue. Should everything, that's her plan, is to make it just a complete non-issue.
Huh.
All right.
So that's one question, but you have a second one if you're...
Watch your back.
All right.
And if she'll also make it fairly clear that it's certainly a very interesting proposal. She wouldn't want you to think that it's not.
Can I use my second question to get you to answer my first question?
Yes, she wants to have it, but annulled is the wrong word. She's not having it annulled.
Okay.
She's
Declared
making...
invalid, or is she looking at removing the option of
Widows are free to remarry.
Yeah, I'm not trying desperately to recoup. Yeah, she doesn't go in. Well, maybe we can do it that way. She goes somewhat. She doesn't want to. Her situation is very complicated. Her noble husband, gone these many years, perhaps into great danger. We know not where. Sadly, never truly made part of our household, et cetera, and so forth. So
throw some tears in there.
Yes, regretful. Not so much tears, but she very much she very much implies that she's having an emotional moment because the fan comes up and sort of covers her face.
It is deeply to be regretted.
But she clearly, the fan is up there to imply that she must hide great grief. Zemin, you're close enough to see that the fan does in fact hide no such grief, but it certainly conveys to everyone else their grieving stepmother.
Grief would be most profound in such a circumstance.
Yeah. The gist of it seems to be that, well, and she's being very careful, but the answer to you is she's going to find some way to just have the marriage really not count because husband's dead.
Nice.
Body missing. All hands all hands lost on board. Just not a going concern. And
How
since,
unfortunate. So sad.
Okay.
and since
That's all I need.
and since the wedding was never consummated and he's dead, we can absolve it ab initio. All we need is
Probably it was a grand and noble death that brings honor to
all we need is
the
some
family
yeah.
indirectly.
All we need is some official paperwork and an abbot.
All right, cool. That's what I need.
There you go. Sorry
right.
to be cagey. Do you have another question though?
Yes, I do.
Yes, what's that?
Who hates her the most out of the royal family in the associated court?
Ooh, that's no, it's not tough. Lady Kai,
Got it.
Interesting.
sister-in-law. They are not friends. Although no, they're not friends. They're not friends.
Unfriends.
They're not friends.
All right.
Okay. While this is happening and we're trolling along, through this area here, in the fishing sense, not the internet sense. Pen there. Lan. I think you were saying like you're kind of studying this whole area here and keeping an eye on various people. And I'd like you to get a study here because I want to see specifically who are you sort of watching. There's a lot of stuff in here. So which human lacuna are you paying the most attention to in this whole mess? As people are filing out of here and various people begin their whispered conversations and that sort of thing, who are you most focused on or looking at, and that'll help us kind of look at sort of what's going on here. So you've got Su Ning, you've got Su Wen, the weirdly memorable, Lord Aoshi and the abbot and Lady Kai. Filing along here, you've got Huigong and his entourage. Where are you? These guys are moving at some speed because they're going to get out into the fun area pretty quick here while things are moving along. Bit more of a sedate pace.
It depends upon whether he's more interested in glaring at 5 or longing for.
Well, and Gunlan isn't really around here necessarily, so that's a fun thing.
Yeah, I'm not doing either of those things, Mom.
Unless you go looking for Gunlan, which,
No.
I am 100% behind that.
No.
No? All right.
No.
All right.
Get more self-respect.
No, I'll be kind of. Who the hell is the blue there that you just moved?
That's an interesting question.
Don't make really.
That would be what's that?
Ratto.
That's
Ratu.
yeah.
Ratto.
Ratu, the Imperial Magistrate.
Thanks for making me close all my little tabs to go search around in the NPCs.
There we go.
No, I'm.
That's a really long name. Ratu.
No.
Imperial Magistrate Ratu. You don't know.
No,
you
I'm
personally
not
don't know,
paying
but
attention to him.
no, I put him up there because he's trailing along behind Su Ning and Zemin at not probably the most like reserved, discreet distance. Yeah, not eavesdropping distance, but definitely, he's got a quarter down on the video game.
Eavesdropping distance, but definitely eavesdropping distance.
It's definitely not eavesdropping distance. It's I've got a quarter down on the console and I've got next on the video game.
Dibs.
Yeah, dibs on Su Ning.
Yeah, I'm definitely kind of keeping most of an eye on the Sioux cluster.
Okay. Why don't you give me a study roll here as you probably again to move along here, and so I can see you sort of falling in a little bit behind here, somewhat near Su Wen and all this other kind of business. So yeah, why don't you give me a study? You can see what we've got going on.
Hopefully, much more, not obvious, much less obvious than Mr. Magistrate.
Yeah, one would hope. Maybe you're doing it with Earth then, cautiously, obsessively.
Quietly.
No, I was reading through the different
Yeah, sure.
things
Of course,
because I was also looking kind of wood for the patience and curiosity of what the hell got Zemin to
I like that too.
detach himself from me.
I'm good with either of those things.
But now I'll do Earth.
Okay. I mean, if you end up getting it jammed up as a result of a bad roll, I certainly can see how that would go. But a 10 is not going to be how that goes. So, taking a look at study, when you study something, roll on 10 plus, you get 2. Hold, spend 1 for the following. Ask a question about a situation or place. Situation, again, what's the people, whatever is going on here. Escape routes, hidden details, threats, dangers. Ask a question about a person. Reveal learn a person's scale. Certainly, you want to judge, size somebody up, or declare something as you see fit. And you got 2 for that.
Yeah.
While you ponder that,
Okay,
I'm gonna give. Yeah, I was gonna say, I got a feel for this. I know these choices are a bit of a mixed bag here. So, Bao, while he's sizing people up and taking a look here, you see your quarry making their way. Xi kind of prodding them along. Actually, both Xi and Li kind of prodding along Huigong to get him out into, away from the quiet area. So sort of literal actual ribbing taking place because they're trying to get him to, like, will you just lighten up and enjoy the fact that you were just given great honor and we should be able to have a frickin' party now? Kind of thing. So they are moving at pretty good speed, heading out to the food court and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to kind of move them along and skip you along here too while this is going on. What do you do? Do you catch up? What do you do?
In a way that is hopefully not obvious to
Observers?
to Xi and to Guiyang, I am trying to catch Li's eye to see if we can rendezvous someplace with. And of course, this is probably very visible to the other retainers who are following along behind us. But my focus is on on Ji and Huigong.
Okay. All right. Cool. Yeah, Li seems very receptive to this. She as they're heading, sort of turning toward the food court and stuff, she started, rather than going left, she goes right and heads off into like a more secluded building kind of thing. It's got kind of a front, I want to say portico. I don't know if that's really right, but sort of the front porch with the columns in the way, and there's trees and bushes and that kind of thing. It's very easy to pull back into there and have a moment's privacy, or even go further into the building to have a little bit of privacy. And you kind of very smoothly, like, she did see my little thing here. Right? That's excellent. Kind of pulling back up into this area. Li is all about letting words off to the side here and pulling you back into the shadows for a bit of a surreptitious cuddle. You spot out of the corner of your eye some people further in the building, in one of the rooms near the waterfall, and realize that one of them is Sun and the other one is Sky Daughter Shu, who rushed out. And so clearly this is like
Occupado?
Well, it's not even. It's partly occupado.
Whoa.
You could probably. So you're in the, like, Lee's beckoning you this way, and then those two, and the body tension from the both of them back in that room, or at least from Shu, is palpable, and Sun's being, very much focused on this. So obviously whatever he's got going on is definitely going on back there. And while you've got yes.
Yeah. So Bao is torn in 3 directions. He's like, he's looking at her and going, and then he's like looking back over at Huigong and is like, and then he's looking over at Sun and going,
I'm feeling particularly good about this because I was only trying to pull you in 2 directions.
Oh, you're pulling me in 3 directions. It's perfect.
So I think I'm going to actually ask you to make a inner conflict roll. Unless you want to be interrupted and pulled out of all 3 of these situations by some convenient happenstance.
By another little pack of fangirls. No, this is appropriate for that.
I mean, there's people around. Certainly, someone could spot you and go, I have him to myself. Binary perfection. Binary perfection.
I understand, but the moment is too good for.
That's the point. Yeah, I'm pleased that even though you have the move that lets you get away from inner conflict, you don't want to get away from inner conflict. So that's.
I think it's appropriate
Call
not
to
to be drawn away from inner conflict. So, when I come to face with an emotional turmoil and pressure from an entanglement or personal issue,
Mark XP. That happens first. And roll anything except for your style element.
And that will actually fill up my XP track.
All right.
Ooh.
Duly noted.
And roll anything except my style element. I will roll.
There's so much going on here. What do you do? Your style element is fire?
I am aware of, my normal style is fire.
I think with everybody pulling you, it's really down to flexibility.
I was going to say, I'm very aware of things going in all directions, and really probably do need to respond to that with a water roll.
You poor thing.
I know.
This is the way this happens.
And so I will do a water roll, and there is no penalty.
Still managed to pull out an 8. Not bad. It's a 9 on the dice. Inner conflict. On a 7 and 9, you must either flee the scene or mark an element as you hold yourself, you don't hold yourself unscathed, but you basically hold things together. Or you don't, and you, make your excuses, and it's like, this is too much.
I don't think it's quite at a point to go running off scene.
But there's just so much.
I am going to say that I will mark. I will go ahead and mark water because I am completely uncertain as to what to do here.
And you're about to not get cuddles, probably, which means you're going to be depressed.
I'm probably not going to. And may even end up feeling isolated.
Yeah.
So
now the harder question. I mean, the inner conflict is fine. That's what originally is right. But you're left feeling like this and still the horrible question, what do you do? Where do you go? Which direction?
You know where you're going to.
What do you want?
I will grab Lee by the shoulders in the shadows, give her a big kiss, and then say, I have to go, and run off after Sun.
Oh my God.
Flash, I love you, but we only have 30 seconds to save the world.
Oh my God. Okay. All right.
Which, given that she's actually picked up all my cues to go into the shadows here, and kind of drag me into them, probably, since I was the one that prompted this, is probably even more of a gaffe. But I just keep channeling my inner Jackie Chan.
As long as it doesn't involve step ladders.
I'm only sad that 5 Coin Zeman changed his romantic entanglement because he could see some of this from here, and I could hit him with a long distance inner conflict.
I mean, you still can. Just because that has changed does not mean that is not a thing.
True. That is true. If you're open to it. Emotional turmoil. I'm curious. I'm going to ask this question because I think it's important. What is Lee to you? Why do you care so damn much? I have a follow-up question.
I have no idea. I'm sure there's probably a good reason for Zeman. It's probably something in the lines of she is genuinely nice to him,
but said no.
So, what's that?
She's genuinely nice to you, but at the same time also says no to any of your advances? Or is she so nice that you've never made any advances? Is she up on some kind of pedestal?
Possibly. And so, yeah, I think
that would therefore explain he is not worthy of her.
Yeah.
Look at the advances he makes on her, and then runs off.
Of the 5 senses, 5 coin, of the 5 senses, which one is most offended by Bao's very presence? If Bao's around, or if Lee and Bao are both around, which of your 5 senses is most offended by him just being there and reminding you that he's there and that Lee likes him? And
The sense of stomach. No, wait, that's not.
I was going to say, we have gone too flowery into our language for me to follow where we have gone.
Do you not like how the man looks? Do you not like how he smells? I'm assuming you haven't tasted him, but
I was going to say, I do not like how he be.
You don't like how he what?
I do not like how he be. Exist.
Yeah, but which is top of the is his voice incredibly grating? Is he a oaf?
Vibe.
Is he
it's just a bad vibe?
Is he a visual lump that you just can't stand to see next to Lee? Does he smell like his cookery? What is it that above all other things just grinds your gears? Or is it just a holistic vibe of anti-bowness?
Your sixth sense,
Anti-bowness.
as it were. Ooh, it's your sixth sense.
It's a
that
sixth
kicks in.
sense of dislikingness. All right, gotcha. All right. Yeah, so what I think from what the distance that you see, what you see is like sort of in the shadows, you see movement. And you see movement, quick movement in one direction, that you just automatically bow. I would recognize that oafish gait anywhere. And then stalking the other direction, just looking like I cannot believe him. Lee going the other direction. He did it again. He dissed her again, and you're still kind of stuck here with Suning. She's still courting her way around you, and with her language and everything. And there's nothing you can do there for your friend or to go and confront Bao because you're stuck here. And I think, yeah, that's where I'm trying to put you for that inner conflict. Does that sound about right? Does that sound like a point of frustration for you?
Sure.
All right. In that case, have an inner conflict.
Okay.
Have an inner conflict. Mark an XP.
Oh.
And what element does this land on? James, I am about to come back to you for your questions, so we can get back on to.
We're gonna go with wood.
Wood. Okay. Wood.
All right. Wow.
Woof! Man, you roll with that.
I think I'm good.
Or do you detach yourself from the whole thing and just kind of like, what's it look like? I mean, are you at peace with this whole thing? Is it that what is Wood's defining business how this shakes out? Wood is patience.
I was just going with angry, but yeah.
But you set it aside, I guess.
I suppose it's like, nope, got a role to play right now, and it is not this.
I'll have
The show must go on.
playing the long game with that whole situation. All right. Nice job with the 12. Well done. Does there anything else come with that, or is it just like I'm cool?
Nope.
You're cool. You keep yourself together. Inner conflict is the take a powerful blow of this game. I'm all good. Except you get to roll high, Margie. Isn't that great? Okay. James, give me your questions. Or give me one. Or give me your declarations or whatever.
I was wondering what the kind of threats/dangers are here.
Okay. Around the Suning situation. Question threats, escape routes. I'm going to kind of go with hidden details and threats. There's some body language from Suning that says that indicates that she has both seen and recognizes Ratu. This is the recognition of somebody who knows who they are. Like, I recognize who you are, but I have not necessarily met you in the past. I know you. I know who you must be. But I don't know you.
Wait, who to who?
Suning, Mother Ning,
Yeah.
recognizes the Imperial Magistrate, knows who he is. Yeah, sorry. Recognizes the Imperial Magistrate, knows who he is, doesn't, given the body language that you're observing, oh great fan warrior, doesn't know him. Like, they're not friends, they're not longtime acquaintances, but she recognizes who he must be and why he's probably a little bit closer in than he would otherwise be. And even a little bit of a motion there saying, the body language that says patience, as a command kind of thing. What else? What else do we see here that's potentially dangerous? Xi is definitely egging on Huigong a little bit to what little you know of the younger brother, some atypical behavior.
I probably know a good amount.
Yeah, Huigong is a very reserved. He's the introvert. He's the reflective one. You probably have some fine conversations with him once upon a time here and there at a remove. But what else? A few other details. Aoshi is still a little bit peeved and is holding it in a very regal fashion. And Su Wen seems to double take at your presence as well, although again, can't put your finger on why you recognize her. Weird.
I mean, I know you're probably implying the past life situation, but since I've been in this, prefecture most of my life.
She hasn't though. She's not from here.
Oh, never mind then.
Yeah, she's from the next kingdom over.
Well, I mean, if a big fuss was made about her husband disappearing.
Possibly. But I mean, it's not that. Hey, I'm just leaning into Margie's thing. It's fine. Don't have to do anything with it. Just throwing it out there as a weird thing. Anyway, another question that you had to find out. There isn't an immediate threat. He's not about to knife anybody or anything like that. He's waiting to be unctuous and oily in the general direction of Suning, but that's...
Yeah, no. I was wondering if I could, kind of gather his motivation. Like, can I, I know he's an Imperial Magistrate, but, like, can I tell kind of what class / expertise, or do I see him, like, holding out some papers?
Oh, he's not like being
something?
he's not being so overt as that, but he definitely he has the
different tassels denoting rank and stuff.
He's an Imperial Magistrate. He has a few things that would indicate that he is part of the administration that sees to the temples and churches of the land as probably his primary duty, which keeps him probably moving about. But certainly he's the secular arm of the temples, if you will. So he's not a priest, but he can come down and say, you're doing a bad job of running this temple, and I can make you not be a priest,
okay.
I can send you off to a monastery. He can judge the good works of Sister Jeanne and say, whether or not you're doing good by the various orphanages and whatnot in the area, that sort of thing, and have things to say about all of that, and they would be adhered to because he's in that. So that would be his thing. Is he's should it in some way connect with the functions of the temples within the purview of the emperor, that would be where his authority most strongly falls. I mean, he's not a tax guy, to put it that kind of deal. So yes, that would be his bit. Good question. I like that. It's good. So yeah, whatever. And he seems his attitude seems to indicate that he's not being swarmy, like he's trying to like suck up to Suning. He has business, and he is not enough of a courtier to play it so cool that nobody even knows that he's here on business. He's got things to do, and he's going to get them done. Not that he's all business. He's just not good at. If the main guy that is always pictured wearing the Green Lantern T-shirt from Big Bang Theory was an Imperial Magistrate, this guy. I don't know if that helps. I don't know if that helps anybody because I don't watch the show either. But he's got that kind of like I have to interact with people, so I'm going to get it done as quickly as possible, if that makes any kind of sense, as efficiently as possible, so I can get on to the next interaction that he has to do as part of his job. It's a bad attitude to have for somebody who's like dealing with social situations all the time. So that is the thing. Shu, you've been followed by a stranger, an upsetting stranger who leaves you upsetting notes. What you doing?
Yes, they have. I am attempting to compose myself, which doesn't seem like I'm going to be given much opportunity to do so.
No, a rough and ready stranger of ill demeanor.
Are you asking me if I'm arming myself?
I'm not. I'm trying to paint
Well, we're
the
on my
picture.
home turf.
This is true.
So I know exactly where I am and exactly what things I can throw at them, and where the long, where a long pole, approximating my preferred weapon, is within reach.
Not difficult to lay hands on, for sure.
I'm trying to decide if I'm just there, trying to compose myself and not necessarily being fully aware of their approach, or if I'm just gonna, embrace the sincerity and just say, "What the hell are you doing?"
Ooh.
So, here, let me.
Oop, oop, oop. Oh.
Okay, it's what the hell are you doing?
That's a high roll, but I'm good with whatever.
I'm sorry. I looked at Zeman's. I'm like, how did I roll 12? I thought it was really a D10.
No, yeah, you're looking. There you go. Interesting. Okay.
Actually, she wouldn't quite put it that way because she's still of the court. So she would probably say something to the effect of, "Sir, I do not believe that we have been introduced. Why are you intruding upon my privacy?" And
I honestly, the what the hell are you doing thing, but this is even really quite straightforward, and generally speaking, with the expectations being to speak obliquely about issues of the heart, I feel as this is a bit of a shock. Just
What, that he did this, or that?
No, I'm saying to Sun, this is a bit of a shock. I mean, the realization here, I think that's very clearly conveyed, and Bill set me straight if I'm off on this, is that, and you certainly come at things a little bit more differently than folks, than most folks, is that you have actually quite upset this young woman, in a way that's not at all helpful.
I got that.
Yeah. What I'm asking is, does that set you back, or is it just like that's just one more thing that I'm never going to understand about people?
No, it's how things are.
Okay. I didn't know if that was going to get you to the point of like, oh dear, I've actually quite offended this person I was meaning to help. I feel quite terrible.
No, I followed her to make things right, so that's what I'm here for.
Okay.
So I'll answer her question thus. I'll be like, I'm a soldier and a traveler of the road, and I've been asked to bring you an important message. I have some other information for you about the lady Su Wen, who the people that I serve has asked me to relay. And I think it's important that you know now or soon what they wish me to tell you.
Okay, so the Shu takes a really big breath and centers herself, as in a fight, like bracing herself to receive this information, and says, "Very well. What is it that you feel I need to know?"
5 Coin Zemin is currently.
Oh, that rat bastard!
I love the fact that your first leading thing to get to the information and kind of calm things down is like immediately like an explosive response. That's great.
You're kind of shocked at some of the language she apparently is using for this delicate courtly flower.
Is currently working to forestall other marriage arrangements for Su Wen.
I
Why?
mean, that very charming rat bastard.
No, actually, I'm just suspicious. Why?
He is an ally of Su Wen's husband.
Oh.
So, 3 questions to you, Doris, or
Yes.
to you.
Yeah, Bill, I'm sure can probably answer as well as
Bill.
I can.
A, what does Shu know about the current entanglement?
Su Wen was married. I think you even met her after that. Because how long have you been on the road, son?
Since the wedding.
Well, are we talking years or months?
I never specified.
Yeah.
If Margie has a preference there that works better for her story, I will go for that. But I don't have a number in mind.
So my thought is that like the wedding happened, you met her after that and had that, Romeo and Juliet, we don't honestly know who the other one is evening. And it's only after the fact that, or the next morning when you realize, oh God, this is so complicated. There's all this other stuff going on. So, she was married. That her husband took off the night of the wedding. And has not been back since, but hasn't done anything to negate that, and is that sort of thing. And you also know that Su Wen, somewhat frustratingly, given the circumstances, heard no ill said about him in any way, shape, or form. She has nothing but good things to say about his honor and nobility.
Okay.
Which
But she's such a nice person.
Yeah.
She would rarely speak ill of anybody.
You get the sense that it's
She's
quite
so nice.
You get the sense that it's quite sincere, which is a bit of a buzzkill every so often, because she seems not enamored, but truly admiring of this man, which puts a bit of a complication on the situation. But so the husband certainly has never been in the picture.
It'd be much easier if he was despicable and
right,
and therefore I was protecting her against him and.
Other than as a honorable paragon to live up to in your own mind, he has not been in the picture until this moment that Sun said this, where 5 Coin is doing this on behalf of the husband. And what specifically did you tell her that 5 Coin is trying to do?
Forestall the wedding arrangements that are being made for Su Wen.
In some vague, in some non-specific way. Gotcha.
I told her as much as I know.
Right, right.
So was I aware that the mother was plotting to get her married again?
No.
I think
that note was
news. No, last time.
Yeah, the note was news to you, and really news to everybody, for sure. So, and it raises a number of questions because, again, she's married. So how? And she said nothing about that, although it does put a certain spin on some of the questions she was asking about the sons while you were bringing her into the courtyard.
Mm-hmm.
It casts that
Well,
in a new
and I already have a very poor opinion of her mother.
Yeah,
so.
she is definitely a planner of a tactician, socially speaking. Everyone's just pieces on the board kind of maneuver thing, for sure.
And mostly out just for herself and doesn't necessarily care for what is best for her daughter, which is just horrid.
Do you feel that this is that providing this information and giving her this context and what's going on, do you feel as though that's a sort of a comfort and support type of thing? Either of you?
I was going to get to something that was more explicitly so by telling her
Okay. By all means.
that I remain in service of this effort, and if there's anything that I can do to assist in this matter, I hope that you will call on me.
And I think the thing that is very interesting about this, and I'm just going to say, I want to put it out there explicitly so that Margie, you can chew over it to whatever degree Shu picks up on it, is Five Coin is working on behest of Suwen's husband to mess up the whole thing, to mess up this whole thing. And honestly, if you're
actually, that's actually a good thing to know because he's just the person to mess things up.
When you talk about someone who's essentially the spiritual version of a Wolverine that just chews up all the food and then pisses on the remains, he's perfect for messing up a social deal. I'm casting this in. Obviously, I love Five Coin. I'm casting this in the light that Shu would see things. He's the perfect one to mess up a social situation. But this guy, who has yet to introduce himself, also working towards these ends, but coming to you about it is very interesting because that would imply that the husband knows about something with you guys. Otherwise, why involve you and why give you this information and why offer their services essentially to whatever way you want to become involved in this? So, which is a whole weird thing where the husband seems to know what's going on with you.
Well, and she's immediately running through her mind as to who would even have guessed that there was something between.
Well, and I'm not sure that
I'm naive. I don't know.
I was going to say I put that
away 1,000 times.
I'm putting it primarily to Margie because I'm not sure that Shu isn't too naive to have picked up on that or right away. It's the kind of thing that she suddenly sits bolt upright tonight while she's falling asleep and go, "Oh my God, he knows!"
Right.
Because it may not just occur to you yet.
Yeah, I think her first response would be, how do they, this unseen hand that's moving towards trying to, control things around the marriage off, of, how do they even know about me? And then it'll probably be tonight that it sits up and it says, wait a minute.
Yeah.
How does he know about
What do they know about me? And how does he? Yeah, exactly.
Dead or gone or whatever.
You're right. Exactly. In the meantime, how do you proceed with this? Or actually back to this, him offering his support for this in whatever ways he fit kind of thing. Is that a comfort? Is that potentially a comfort, something that she would find helpful, emotionally so or otherwise in this trying moment?
I think she sees it as a lifeline because it's certainly not something that she would have been able to talk to her brother about, or most any of her friends within the court. It's just would not have been a thing that she was able to talk about.
Perfect.
And I think that she's kind of shocked a bit that there's somebody at least appearing to be on her side. So I would say she's wary, but also because she's young, she's grasping at that lifeline.
Okay. I would say the door is definitely open then, Bill, for you to do the comfort and support, which I'll note is an interesting one because you don't pick an element for this, you just roll.
That's very unusual because literally every other basic move has you pick an element and roll.
Right, that's what I mean. This one, I don't think you add an element. I think you just roll. I could be wrong about that, but let me look at the actual...
It just says roll.
Yep.
Which move is it?
When you go to assist or clear harm from a fellow PC, roll. Is that different from...
Yeah, it's different from the way all the rest of them are worded.
All the rest of them just say roll, but none of the rest of them say, choose an element and...
Yeah, they only tell you
you
can't use a specific element.
I was looking at inner conflict, roll anything except your style element, which mentions the style element, but that's true. Okay, I missed
Yeah, so
in Hearts and Mind, it just says roll.
Yeah. Earth seems indicated. Caution, focus, and presence are pretty much what I'm bringing to this.
That sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
What do we got? 9. I mean, if you want a 10 real bad, Su Wen's your bond with Su Wen makes sense. Or Zemin, honestly, either one of them you could trade in a bond for the bonus. If you want that 10.
I don't have any elements marked, so I'm doing okay for that.
Okay.
I'll leave it at 10.
On a hit, they may accept your words. They can clear a checked element or gain a bond with you. So Margie, that's up to you. You can either clear an element that's checked, or you gain a bond with Sun.
No,
I
they give me a bond.
Oh, right. Sorry. They give, Sun gets a bond with
I'm
you.
actually going to go ahead and clear an element because I'm going to clear water, which, if you think of the downside, it's uncertain, isolated, depressed. So I think that's a fine thing to clear when sensing that there's actually somebody who at least is aware of what's going on and potentially on my side.
Actually, and it doesn't matter because she didn't pick this, but if you look at the wording of it, on a hit, they clear a checked element and gain a bond with you. On a 10 plus, you gain a bond with them. So I think it actually would, if she had chosen it, she's the one that gets the bond where she writes down and gets the number on a 9. On a 10, it goes both ways.
Right.
Or potentially goes both ways. That's interesting. It's interesting how that flows. Okay, so I want to advance things along here a little bit and move the night along because we could snails crawl through piles of this. Bao, you were rushing this way, is that correct?
Yeah, I was going to say that I should, I would certainly probably be showing up right at the end with my strangely deformed icon or token.
Oh yeah, I don't know. There was probably resized you and it went in a weird way.
And unfortunately, I can't resize my token.
There you go.
Because I'm not a GM. There we go.
There you go.
You. And so I will, I rush in at kind of this peak, emotional moment and say, Silent Sun, as I said before, I am here to serve you in whatever way I can, as my father has ordered me. Ma'am, how may I be of service?
And you're probably both kind of loosely aware of one another. Certainly with your father being the head chef, the head cook, and you being in and out of the castle, her being a courtier, but also down in the town, there's no way that you aren't at least somewhat on the cusp of each other's orbits around the main town and the castle and stuff, but probably only peripherally so, it seems. You might know that she's G's little sister, maybe, because Two-Handed G is a person of note for Lee, and maybe it's a whole weird thing. All right.
Really, you would know that I'm of the court.
Right. So I'm going to. So here's. I want to fast forward things through the party a couple of hours, unless people are like, "No, I had a thing I need to do right now," and kind of see where we are in a bit.
There's definitely something I want to do. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mike. Bill.
Or that was Bill. Yeah.
No. I was literally about to say I mostly want to see what she was about to do. So.
Okay. Yeah. There we go.
Right
at some point in the next couple of hours, I want to hit something.
Okay.
So I'm going to be out in the
party zone.
Competition zone. The composition zone.
The composition
whacking
zone?
On the competition?
Oh, competition, sorry. The party zone. It says party zone. But yeah, you're right. Whacking on stuff. Okay, so yeah, let's and if your summary can best be stated as I'd like to be somewhere in the orbit of X and kind of seeing what's going on there and being involved with what's going on with so and so. I'm 100% fine with that.
I think in that case, Sun is probably best off keeping an eye on Zemin from a good distance. And if Bao wants to come along for that, that's great. If Bao has other priorities, like Sun will listen to that and help if he can.
Or Hui Gong, if you're trying to.
Bao is definitely sticking by you.
Okay. So Sun will do his best over this course of time to kind of explain in broad terms what's going on without actually giving away his real identity, but just basically lay out kind of the story and what's at stake so that Bao is caught up.
Okay.
Wow.
Zemin, do you, during the next couple of hours, or is this something that you're worrying about for another evening, for another time, do you at any point get Sun in the know on what you've been able to deduce about Lady Ning's plan?
Yeah, I want to have a scene with Sun to kind of talk to him about what's going on.
Do you want that as a scene, or do you want it read as read?
I mean, we can do it as is. I don't know what their uptake on it is going to be on.
I think
right.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump around in time a little bit and just get a couple of scenes in here. So let's jump to that one. That's the first one, and we can hop around here a bit because I'm cognizant of the time, and I want to make sure we get there's a couple more things here as the night crawls on. One of them though, are there any like sort of glares to push Bao back away, like one step removed from this conversation, like getting him back? Because every time when you look for Sun, you find Bao. Does he only annoy you when he's around Lee, or does he basically annoy you all the time?
I think he annoys me all the time.
All right, so is there that bit of that comedic kind of like?
Well, and he sort of annoys me too because I know what his attitude is towards me.
Right.
To Lee.
So when Zeman shows up to talk to Sun, and you're aware that he's been doing something on behalf of all these shenanigans, like what do you do at that point now that Zeman's in is that where you make your excuses or check in on some other thing that's happening? Is that that point?
No, I just glower at him.
All right, so it's just scornful looks, angry looks all around. All right, so how do you present this to the Sun?
Well, first I feel like if Bao's like scowling at Zeman whenever Zeman shows up, this merely reinforces like. I didn't like you in the first place, and now you're just being mean to me for no reason? Psh, no reason. No wonder I didn't have a good feeling about you. Anyway, that's just what he's thinking. But anyway, it's just like, okay, here's what I've learned so far. Suning wants to have Suwin's husband declared dead so that she's free to remarry after a particular point of mourning, and our most likely ally in the royal family is Lady Kailing because she really does not like Suning.
Okay.
What?
So
the news that you're about to be declared dead somehow.
Right. So I'm going to go over this out of character. I think we figured out that the reason that Sun and Zeman know each other to begin with is that Zeman has been laundering letters from wherever that are ostensibly from Silent Sun's like original persona, like the husband.
You've been he's been publicly passing along documentation of your continued existence.
Wow, exactly. How cool. I got another letter from this guy the other day. Good to see that he's still kicking and doing perfectly legal things.
So what I want to figure out is, given that, how could Suning go about doing what she's doing?
Well, those aren't official documents. So that, while it certainly establishes the narrative, I'm looking.
I was going to say, did we not know about the letters?
Do we not know? No, you guys know about the letters. You're the one.
No. I'm just saying, did you not know about the letters?
No, I knew about the letters. I'm just saying they're not court documents. What I'm saying. That's it. They establish the narrative. So it's certainly you've got a certain amount of proof, but it's all kind of, I don't know. It's evidence, but it's not necessarily proof of life. So what would they have to do? There would have to be some sort of legal something or other to have you declared dead, and then depending on how far Suning wants to take it, they either say they either call her a widow, or they back it up and say, well, this was never truly a marriage. He was never actually here. He's dead now, and we're just going to pretend it never happened.
Okay. So here's what I think we need to do.
But they have to falsify some sort of letters of. They would need some sort of proof of death.
Get you in a room with Lady Kailing, kind of explain the situation, and have her go to bat against whatever Suning comes up with.
Okay, I think we should arrange that immediately.
Okay. So we'll phase out of that conversation. Bill, out of curiosity, because I'm going to present you this option, does the idea that they're like attempting to have you declared dead, does that count as an inner conflict about this whole shenanigans, or no?
I don't feel any actual conflict from that, honestly.
Okay.
It's like,
all right.
It's just another tactic in this war that I have with Suning over her daughter.
That's fair. It's one more. Yeah, it's one. It's fine. I merely presenting the option.
If I got the impression Sue Wynn was going along with it, that's inner conflict. Let me know if that happens. But
Gotcha. No, yeah, that's
Yeah.
fair. That's fair. Okay, so
I'll give
Okay.
Val one more thing, which is if you're not sure what to do or where to go or how to hang out, like this person I was with earlier, Sky Daughter Shu, she is an important part of this matter, and her wishes are to be considered paramount in terms of what happens next.
cool.
So I can serve you by serving her?
Exactly.
So she hasn't been around in a while. Certainly she's more than capable of taking care of herself. But do you go looking for that woman at this point, since they're all now Zemin and Sun are making plans on how to get a private audience with the the sister-in-law of the court?
Hang on a sec, because
I'm also going to say I have not figured out yet how to rope Peng Lan into these shenanigans.
I can. I know how.
Fantastic.
Peng is actually conveniently watching some of the people that are involved in all of Suning's shenanigans, so he's a.
I was about to say, did Peng Lan also spy on Zemin and Sun's conversation?
Well, I mean, there was body language.
Like the crude word.
Yeah, he observed it and read a lot of body language into it. But yeah, I was watching all of that stuff
No. Once they're done, I'm going to grab Zemin by the arm and make him tell me what the hell is going on, because he went from not leaving my side to suddenly going off in all different directions, and that is not like him unless there is something going on.
Especially since at least some of what you caught wind of during the from your distance seemed to be him broadly promising himself in marriage should the opportunity present itself. And that is, to put it mildly, not a very Zemin-like thing to do.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of not Zemin-like behavior here that we're gonna have a nice little discussion.
No, Peng. You don't understand. The marriage offer was all ploy. You see, I found a much more juicy drama than what you were entangled with Gunland. He's a nice boy, but he's kind of an idiot. Anyway.
Yeah, so to protect whoever is now who has now gotten Zemin's attention, I am getting in on this.
I need to protect. I need to protect someone from Zemin helping them.
Yes.
Does Zemin?
Yeah, he's got an ally in me.
He wants to be involved in this thing. Do you like just sick him into keeping an eye on Lady Ning for the rest of the while she's doing whatever she's doing?
No, because as much as I hate to admit, he is very efficient at mingling.
5-coin? Yes.
Yeah.
Well, this isn't mingling so much as watching people, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah. Why would you restrict him to just watching when he can do more?
I'm here to disturb shit.
Yeah, exactly. You can't do, disturb
Five-coin.
shit by just
the
watching.
Loki of Wushu. And not the crocodile Loki.
Not the crocodile. I haven't seen it yet. Shush. I want President Loki. Anyway.
Alright.
So, all right. Okay. I'm going to find out what Shu's doing here. Shu's going to do here. So, Shu, you're getting into competition. You're going to release a little, and this is just kind of a whirlwind of the next couple of hours. And there's so many things up here. But you're doing the wooden dummy thing and ringing all the bells, doing all the stuff. There's a point in there where Ji kind of appears at your side after one of the things and getting a little bit of applause from the people around you for, your performance on the wooden dummies. And he sort of is applauding at the same time. He shows up and is like, he makes his first comment is a correction of form, which is, but he gets no more than that out before Hui Gong has slung an arm around his neck. It's like, leave her be. She was spectacular. Fine warrior. Someone to have in what'd you call it? Bodyguard, vanguard, entourage, ho! And you suddenly find yourself slung along in the wake of Hui Gong as he's.
Yes, of course I can't say no.
Yes, come along, you my new favorite bodyguard. You're probably better than G. Certainly better looking. And this very un-Huigong like, we should spar, but not here. Too many people looking. Need to find some place? Show me your proper skills. The bell! Back to the bell! And you after, so this is all, where are we? I'm at the wrong screen here. All right. So, it's later in the evening. Who would be here? So we've got Ji and Huigong, Lee, who's stealing wine occasionally and looking sulky.
I was definitely, if
lurking.
she was being dragged over there, Bao will be like, yeah, lurking.
Yeah, well, in your little watching the other things, you would have seen this entourage going by, and it's like a trifecta, because you've got Huigong, you've got Shu, you've got Lee, and they're all headed this direction, and it's almost like being in, So, this is Huigong turning around. You are looking for employment as a bodyguard. Very good, but you have to prove yourself. Prove yourself. See if you can take me. And he leaps up onto and this is the first time you've really seen this is the first time we've really seen anybody kind of flex their stuff. And he's not, I'll say this, Shu, I'm not nearly as think as you drunk I am. He's not nearly as gone as he would imply, but he's definitely in a good mood. He's in a very forward, enthusiastic mode that he definitely does not normally allow himself. But he leaps up onto the edge of the well. I need a stick. Need a weapon. He takes the hammer, but he holds it by the heavy end and kind of tucks it under his arm, and he's got the long handle of this big old bell ringing hammer. Up on there. Where's your stick? You got a stick? Face me with the stick. I want to see what you can do. Get up here.
What is there around? First, I look at my brother.
Actually, what could he do?
He's either going to
Oh, he's not going to stop him. He's not going to stop him.
Does he give me a lose or go for it or, oh my God, let me out of here, I don't want to be part of this?
Don't embarrass yourself. And he will...
Oh, if he does that, then he's... oh, not.
What's it look like when you get up there? Is this a bit of a light step kind of a leap thing, or just to kind of show you know your stuff, or?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I can't pretend not to be good. All right. With my brother watching, it's just impossible.
This is So, Bao, you kind of, so we got Shu up on the well. We've got Huigong up on the well. You dare challenge my honor, vagrant, villain?
Wait, what?
I'm out of V words. No, he's just conjuring up sort of random thing. Oh. Face me for the honor of the Kung family. And he's starts it with a big overhand around Moulinet kind of thing that a child could block. How are you proceeding? Tell me what this looks like. Are you really want to set him on his ass? Are you toying with him? He's can be good, but he's not starting out good. He's just messing about.
So can I tell that? So he's clearly not serious. Can I tell if he's actually drunk or is this all in good humor?
He's definitely not as drunk as he's acting. He's not drunk. He's not that drunk. He is a little drunk.
Right.
He's in a good mood. He's definitely doing this in good humor.
Playful.
He's doing this in good humor.
Okay.
But if this was Gunlun, the trick would be to play along with him. Here's the thing. Huigong isn't that drunk. He's projecting a little bit of, he's almost playing Gunlan at this point, like playing the part of Gunlan a little bit. But when the sun rises tomorrow, he's going to be Huigong. And Huigong cares about how good you are. Huigong cares about the real deal. Not that Gunlan's completely, vapor and wind, but he certainly leans that way. So you've got to kind of balance the thing where he's playing around, but at the same time, he's going to care.
Right. And he's going to notice he's going to remember what I did
Absolutely.
Tomorrow.
Absolutely.
Okay. So, I will, do kind of a girlish sidestep. For the first pass, and I will, call out, a stick. I need a stick.
Is there a stick that I can grab to throw to her?
And is it long enough?
So what you end up with, what you can get pretty easily is like the kind of like hooked stick that would be used to like raise lanterns up onto.
Okay.
Like wall mounts or something like that. And you can quickly snag something like that down by the little gatehouse thing and toss it to her as she's sort of. And we get a lot of those close-up shots of the feet doing these nice little side steps and pirouettes around the edge of the well.
Because I am in court dress.
Right. So there's a little bit of that where you're having to, your movements are a little bit more constrained, but they're also, you're on the edge of a well. And there's a little bit of like, it's possible he picked this because you're not going to be constrained as much here as you would be if you were in like an open courtyard.
Right.
You're already making small movements, so it's fine. Guigong is a person who thinks a few steps ahead. And you're learning that right now. Okay, stick. So yeah, lamp thing against the reverse handle grip of a hammer underneath. It's a weird bit of a deal. He ends up kind of holding it like almost like a two-handed sword. With the hammer beneath that, so it's bottom heavy as hell. It telegraphs the heck out of everything, and he's been taught a lot by your brother, so there isn't a lot coming out here that aren't moves you know. Occasionally he'll throw something in there that's more of a Kung family style thing, but a lot of what he's doing is your brother's stuff. Just not as just right now, given the weapon and everything, like he's not exactly pushing you.
I'm going to start off with the hook end out, so that it sort of more resembles my preferred weapon.
Sure.
In terms of balance. But I'm mostly going to kind of doing more dodging and blocking and just seeing how serious he really is about wanting to test me.
How far do you push? When you say dodge and block, do you go up and over like a proper light step kind of like he goes forward and you go completely up and over and end up on the far side of the well as he lunges across kind of thing, or
not to start off with. I'm sort of dividing it into two parts.
Okay.
The first part is the playing around. I'm pretending to be more drunk than I am, or he's pretending to be more drunk than he is, and I'm pretending to be a delicate little flower to start with. And then depending upon, at some point, if he actually pulls out a clever move, or something like that, then I will flip my hook around so I'm equally unbalanced, and then start being a little bit more serious with him. Not to hurt him, but just to show him that I actually know what I'm doing, even if my brother doesn't think I do. Because I am not going to let my brother think I don't have good form. Okay. So I'm not going to be messy, but at first I can be playful and step away.
Certainly.
But if he takes an interesting move, then I will definitely become more of a student trying to impress the master.
Okay, so I'm not going to do this as a duel, but I am going to do this as an impress.
Okay.
When you act to impress others or succeed, and there's enough of an audience here, I think it counts as a group or anything like kind of thing, but I think obviously Huigong is maybe the primary focus here. So, and I'm perfectly fine with you deciding to use your style element if you're so inclined. It certainly would. I think that's really called for, given the way that you're doing this, which would be your rolling wood. And it really kind of plays into that because you're being patient with this. You're playing the long game with any of this. So I think that really plays in very nicely. So
and curiosity, as in like, where is he really going with this?
What is he going on here? Yeah, indeed. Yeah. So let's have it. Let's see what we got. See how that goes. I'm rooting for you.
Oh my God! Wow. Do I fall in the well?
Okay.
Apparently.
Okay. First of all, mark experience points.
Yeah.
I'm leaning into the overconfident part of wood, if that's okay.
Uh-huh.
And I'm going to. Okay.
Remember where you put that list of moves?
Hey, Joyce.
Yes, sir.
Why did you say mark XP?
I think you mark XP when you fail.
Where does it say that?
I don't know. I've read like 5 different Power by the Apocalypse new rule sets in the last 2 weeks. So does it not say that?
It does not. We had talked about this a couple weeks ago.
Right. Again, reading lots of different Power by the Apocalypse games. I thought that was a dial that could be set, but that's fine.
No, I can undo that.
I to impress others.
So, question: is he actually better than me? Is he above my scale?
Right now, no. I wouldn't say so. Well,
I will move to that.
Well, first of all, let me look at that. Given this, but you guys are both sort of equally hindered because you're using long weapons on the edge of a well that's not actually big enough for that.
No, but I would sort of interpret that as is he clearly superior?
I mean, I'm looking at the roll move, and I see what you're saying. Although I
I
don't
mean,
know that,
it's not going to benefit because no one's running away or anything like that. It's just.
but you can definitely keep him busy. The idea that you can keep him busy despite the fact that he's clearly superior.
No, I flubbed nicely.
That's
Thank you.
that's okay. That's okay. Let me look at something here real quick. I have an idea percolating. I have to admit I was not expecting.
Well, I wasn't expecting
Double
you to roll
ones.
double
That is
one.
Snake Eyes. Wow, that is really. I was like, what did you even roll? Yeah, Snake Eyes. Do. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So the thing goes on. It's basically exactly as you described. Like you're playing it kind of easy, and he kind of decided with kind of a tiny little smile, the thin lip sort of smile thing, as he kind of like starts to set to a little bit and push things a little bit harder. And he's calling out over his shoulder without really turning his head to the side. Or he doesn't turn his head to the side after the first time, because he looks over his shoulder the first time, and you fetch him a bit of a whack for not paying proper attention. After that, he's talking to G over like without looking. I think she's studying without you. You're saying she's better than I am. No, I'm just saying I didn't see that move before. You know what, G? I think maybe you should be fighting in a dress too. It definitely improves her form. So this is all going on, right? And the blows are coming a little bit quicker. Huigong is occasionally like throwing, like there's at least one point where he plants the hammer head down on the edge of the well, and boosts himself up and over like in kind of like a aerial cartwheel,
Right.
up over to that. So he ends up very close behind you and leaves you kind of having to like do a quick little flailing back, arms kind of doing a wave hands like clouds thing as you're like backing up and keeping these at bay and leaving yourself in a pose. And he's like, huh. And, keeps coming after you. So it becomes more and more frenetic, bit of a murmur. And you're showing yourself off well for all of this. There is a point though, where you misread the situation. I'm chalking this up to the overconfidence inherent in Wood, where you misread the situation and you go for you have it in your mind that you've had this stuck in your mind for the better part of a minute. You want to disarm that hammer. You want to send that thing flying. Nothing would make you happier than to do this. And you think you've got a pattern sorted out with him, and you go for it, and you realize that he has suckered you with this. And he has been leaving it just enough out there as a bait to pull you in. Right. But things go a bit awry, and there's a misstep, a step on the hem of the dress, a tumble, and you're about to go in the well because of all of, a couple of quick flurries and kind of things. And he, realizing what's happening, and his eyes go wide and, eye contact kind of thing, he flips the hammer away and braces in two different points with his feet on two different points of the well, and kind of gets a big, it's like a waltz dip. And he gets down and catches you before you go in, and then turns you so you're not facing down into the well. So you're like hanging out over this water, and he's got, he's with the left hand, he's up, and the other one's back, and he's grabbed the pole, and he quickly pulls the pole out of your hands and spins it around and gets the hook against the far side of the well and pushes the both of you back up to a standing position. Quite close. He's flushed, and you realize in that moment he's very flushed. And it doesn't have anything to do with the fight.
Okay. I have no idea what to do.
There's a good solid beat there where everybody in the audience, not everybody in the actual audience, everybody watching realizes what the look must mean. And then he's like, an excellent bodyguard. You will be a fine guard for the family. And voice shaking a little bit. And he pulls the both of you back down in the little like floaty hop, back down off the well, down next to it, and he kind of positions you next to him, facing the well. And bodyguard, we must speak to the Kung ancestors and induct you into this. And he turns and he does like a clap thing, like standing at temple. And I realize I'm stealing sort of a Japanese Buddhist thing or a Shinto thing at this point, but it's the best shorthand I have for this. Just simply from the sheer ingrained response to it, you follow suit.
The Lord be with you.
Yeah.
And also with you.
Yeah, exactly. So he does the clap thing. You join in like a half beat behind for the first one, on for the second one, and he intones, "May Kung Ayoshi, the leader of the Kung family and guardian of the prefecture, live forever, ever blessed." And another clap, and you join in the thing. There you go. And he kind of awkwardly sort of taps you on the shoulder. "Bodyguard of the Kung family. Well done. Beautifully fought. You're a tribute to your brother's teaching and to your own fine heart." And he kind of swallows like he's trying to like get around whatever, like something that he did not want to say. And, well, I think I'm a bit drunk. I'm going to bed. And he just walks right out of the place.
Oh, what? So what I was going for is the ape offers fruit, an unexpected disarm.
What you got was Kung Hui Gong fell in love with you. Quite badly.
A little complication.
And we get zoom faces on her, on Bao,
On G, who doesn't get any of that part. He's just all, Well, that was embarrassing. You were doing fine. Why did you go for the disarm? This is going to be the second thing that brings you bolt upright out of your bed tonight going, "Oh, God!"
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
10:30.
Yeah, I know. We're right at the thing, and I didn't get to everything I wanted to get to. Let's loop back around, because Ping hasn't done a thing, and Ping wanted to do. I think Ping had a thing, and Sung had a thing, and we're gonna have a whole bunch of stuff going on.
Nah, my thing had just been to manhandle Zeman into a corner and get him to tell me what was going on, which I was fine just
Getting that information and
assuming had happened, and thus Peng is included in all this fiasco.
So a couple of slow motion shots from around the rest of the evening's party. Kung Aoshi holding court and walking about and doing various things.
I do introduce myself to Kung Aoshi at some point.
A moment of you, paying your respects, and him very respectfully asking you to pay your respects back to your master, mistress, and the esteem with which the order has always carried themselves within the province has always done great honor, and you certainly seem. There's a little bit of a coldness to him, because at some point he is, without tainting himself with actually knowing what the hell is going on, he's aware that whatever caused his son to act up had to do with you.
I think it would be a little hard to not know that.
Exactly. So while he is going by all the road thing, he's not suddenly like all warm and welcoming and you should walk with me, kind of thing. Maybe he is though. I think actually there is a bit where he does do a bit of walk with me, and he's walking about like the front part there, the party zone, so to speak, and mingling with the commoners. But what he's doing is quietly having a monologue, really, about the nature of leadership and the responsibilities of rulership.
Nice.
What's required of those who must protect and that others look up to, and that what is required is not to be all that they expect, but all that they expect and more. To serve in the ways that they do not see, to suffer in the ways that they will never hear of, to do what must be done and not do what must not be done, and so on and so forth. And it's all very blah, blah, blah,
I very dutifully listen and nod along at the correct parts.
Right. Because what he's really, to a certain extent, what he's saying is, these are the things that Hui Gong, that Gunlan should not be doing, and you don't have a good opening or really even the right to say, dude, I agree, your son's an ass. Like, but at the same time, maybe that is what you want to say? So
yeah.
He may be pointing it as sort of a chastisement, which might land better if you were more like Zeman, but you're really not. So...
yeah.
And
yeah,
there's nothing
right.
There's nothing inherent in the relationship that's actually problematic in and of itself, except for the fact that it's causing Gunlan to go off the rails in terms of how he behaves around those who look on. That's the problem. It's not what the relationship is, because Gunlan's not promised anybody, and whatever. It's the way he's behaving about it. That's the issue. I want to make that clear, because this is not a thing of like, but you must marry a woman. It's none of that nonsense. This is alternate China. Much less annoying China. Or any place else, honestly. So there's slow motion of that. There's a scene of Su Ning talking with that the audience sees of Su Ning talking with the Imperial Magistrate, and quietly receiving papers or a scroll or something of that nature. There's another thing with her sitting or standing with the sitting with the abbot and talking at some length, and those and the abbot sort of shaking his head and making gestures like, "Oh, this is all so too much for me," blah blah blah. And then the imperial magistrate shows up, and suddenly the abbot is much more agreeable and takes the paperwork from Lady Ning, certainly not from the magistrate. Why would the magistrate have papers such as this? So on and so forth. So there's little shots of that happening. When we see Hui Gong's little entourage making their somewhat awkward way back out of that upper courtyard, with Hui Gong going another direction and off to his bed, or just out of there, we see kind of, as you guys are heading out the main gate, the camera swings around and we see Gunlan watching you go from this other corner courtyard here, like sort of lurking in the shadows. Din Tian sort of behind him and looking more worriedly at his friend than looking at anything else. And Gunlan looking after that and looking at the door through which Hui Gong exited, and looking at the hammer on the ground where it was thrown to the side and is laying there not far from the bell, looking at the hooked stick that's also laying on the ground, looking at the well, and
who is this?
Gunlan, eldest son. So as you guys here are headed out, we see Gunlan sort of watching you go and taking in the remains of the whole scenario, and walking towards the well as we fade out of that.
I have two questions for you.
Yes.
Did Lady Ling see was she paying attention or seeing the fight? So she was kind of on the edge of the courtyard.
Oh no, I hadn't moved to them.
Okay.
She could have if you want.
I don't know. The only person I'm not seeing on the map is Sister Jian.
She's out in the party zone.
I
didn't pull everybody in, but she was
she's
out with
in the party.
Yeah,
okay,
she's
great.
very popular with the common folk. Hugely popular. Both above us and one of us. Someone that everybody can be friendly with and open with, and at the same time be very respectful of. She's generally a good person and beloved by all. So she's out there in the party zone. A couple other folks. I mean, there's other folks that I didn't pull her thing in just yet. But yeah, she was out there. You would have seen her when you were doing your stuff and everything like that. But we close out with Gunlan headed to the well. Still looking like a angry man, angry boy, whatever. And we're at that thing. We'll wrap up with this. The next morning, there's a pounding on whatever room Bao is currently sleeping in the castle. Not a pounding, like a very rapid and urgent knocking.
I will drag myself out of bed after many comedic, cut shots of, rolls over away from the door, tries to get pillow over the head.
I love it. Just
burrows backwards down under the covers.
Just hard cuts between each one of these things.
Exactly. And finally is pulling himself out of bed. He's not hungover.
He's just tired.
He's just tired. It was an exhausting evening. And pulls open the door.
Master Bao. It's one of the kitchen staff. Your father. There's an opening here for you to say something, or they just continue on.
My father can wait until I have awakened fully.
No. He's been arrested. Under suspicion of treason. The Lord Ryoshi won't wake up. They think he's been poisoned. We'll stop there.
Wow, nice. That wakes you up.
Yes. That wide-eyed look.
They think he's been poisoned. So, okay. So much. God, we should have used the court rules. Out of curiosity, Mike, are there, and I only ask you because you mentioned this, are there rules in the court set for using dual?
Mike is gone.
Mike is offline.
Oh, he dropped? Oh.
If you missed the text in general, it said, only got the spoons for a little more game tonight, may drop out if this keeps going. And that was at 9:22.
Oh, bummer. All right. I'm wondering if the court rules had like how to use duel for social stuff. Like actually doing a social duel, whether that was actually in court or just something he wanted to try to do with the rules. Because he mentioned it last session. I didn't know one way or the other if that was the thing. Okay. Advancement. You mark XP in several ways. We already did that. At the end of the session, if you've significantly interacted with your highlighted entanglement, mark 2 XP. If you have interacted with your other entanglement, you may mark 1 XP. Mark XP both when you roll and if you it's typo in there. Both when you roll and if you fail an inner conflict roll. And there you go. So everyone, please take a look at your bonds, not your bonds, your entanglements, and mark XP appropriately. If for some reason you feel like you need reinforcement on whether or not you hit them, you can ask. I trust your judgment.
I think I hit both my boxes.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds good. Yep. So for those of you who did, Peng, I think you might have been a little bit. I'm not sure if you did, but if you did you get any of them?
No.
Oh,
Aww.
damn it!
It's fine.
Your turn to be a Zeman. You missed it. I think he's got his though for this one, so that's good. Did anybody?
Next time, everyone's going to talk to Penguin.
Well, yeah, you're going to be in the midst of a bunch of stuff because, yeah.
Terrifying.
Well, Gunlon really needs to talk to you now. It's such a bad night. He really needs to talk to somebody who'll understand.
Wow. I really need to not talk to Gunlon.
But he's
there you are, Peng.
He's an XP pinata for you.
I don't care.
That just really conjures up an interesting image.
Hit him and points fall
Whap!
out.
Bing!
See, and if you punch, I guarantee you if you hit him, XP will fall out one way or the other.
Yeah, if I could actually punch him, I'd be much more willing to engage in these interactions.
I mean, could happen. All right.
Actually, no. As soon as I do that, it's like you can visibly see the meter of struggle between duty and self rapidly fluctuating.
It's like the Mass Effect Renegade versus Paragon scale. Like, is it sliding blue? Is it sliding red? Which way are we going on this? It's boring to keep it right in the middle. All right. Did anybody else get to the 8, or is Dave the first and only so far?
I'm one away.
I think I hit both my entanglements, which will take me to a total of 9 XP. So I'm going to take my first advance.
Excellent. Let me know what it ends up being, or put it up in the. Put it up in the forums, good, or whatever. Yeah, talk about what you end up doing. All good.
I'm taking the imposter. You can assume a perfect disguise.
Oh, that sounds fun. That sounds useful in this situation because everybody gonna be looking for the dead man.
He's not dead yet.
I like that we find it.
Dead man searching.
I like how we're finding an interesting way of bringing in Kylie too. Kyling that too. That makes me happy. Excellent. All right. Cool. Lots of stuff going on. All right, kids. It is 10 minutes past the witching half hour, so send you off on your merry way. Stop recording in all locations. What I'm currently, I guess we talked about this a little bit last week. What I currently did, Bill, was I shut off the timer on going AFK, and I just log in Kaylee on a different computer and also record over there.